All right. Well, when I was about the age of 17, I decided I'd join the service. So after spending my basic training and stuff like that, I got shipped to Korea. And I figured, being that I was a mechanic, I wouldn't have to worry about anything. And I found out I was wrong. They didn't need mechanics, they needed tank drivers. So I was assigned to the 89th Tank Destroyer Unit, which was a small detachment. And I drove an M46 tank. And I only made it up on the lines 3 times. Third time I come back, the company commander called me in the office and said, "I can't let you go up again. You're not 18. So I figured, well, I'd get shipped out, I'd get sent to the infantry. He said, "No, I'm going to keep you. You're going to be the company carpenter." And we lived in a tent city. I said, "What do I do?" He said, "Stay out of sight. If I need you, I'll get a hold of you." But my experience with the M46 tank was quite unique in the fact that we had a good turret on it. We had an escape hatch that you could pull over a man and pull him up in there if he was wounded or if he had to get out. And there was a lot of things to driving one of them. It was up to the driver to keep the tread tight, make sure that it was serviced properly. And I got my ears messed up with the 90 millimeter on it because at that time they didn't believe in ear protection in the military. But since then, the VA has taken care of it, so I'm happy with that. And I'm not a combat hero, but I had the pleasure of serving with some of those that were. And after that, they signed a truce and stuff. I was shipped to Hokkaido, northern Hokkaido, Japan, and I was assigned to a AAA anti-aircraft artillery company. And then I drove the M42 that had twin 40s on the turret, and they weren't very much fun to drive. And so I did that until I was rotated home to be discharged from the service. My experience here has been very rewarding. It was much more than I anticipated. I've met a lot of nice fellows and nice people, and some of the people that served in Korea with me. And I was very happy to meet a Korean family that talked to me, and they were very happy that I served, and I met the whole family, and him and I had quite a talk, and it was very rewarding. It made you feel like that, yes, you did do some good. They're still free to do what they want. And that about concludes what I have to say.
Have you got any vivid or funny memories from your service?
I was telling him about one that I wouldn't repeat on here.
Well, you could leave some strategic words out.
When I first got to Japan, I was still with the Heavy Armored Division before I got assigned to the 29th AAA. And where we stored our tanks in this one shop, we had a steel plate that was probably about 15 feet wide and about 30 feet long that covered a kind of a canal. It was solid steel, and so was the tread on the tank was solid steel. I hit it one time a little too fast, and it had froze ice on it, and the tank turned sideways with me, and I took a chunk of the building out that you could drive another one through. The shop officer, the warrant officer, got me out of it, and he related to me what he thought my IQ was, plus several other good choice words, and he was going to park the tank, in which he backed over a Jeep trailer and smashed it flat. So he had me standing at attention, and he was still chewing me out, and I couldn't answer him, and he finally gave up and walked off. And after a while, we went into his office and told him, said, "We know how we can take care of that Jeep trailer because you got an IG inspection coming up. But we need a trip ticket for a Jeep." So he gave us a trip ticket for a Jeep. We went to a neighboring Marine base, stole a Jeep trailer, brought it back, repainted it our colors, destroyed our old one, and we had this Jeep trailer standing tall in inspection. That was one of the fun times. Some of the other wasn't so fun. But,
Any of that you're willing to share?
pardon me?
Any of the not so fun things you're willing to share?
No, I'll tell you the one thing it is, I've heard guys say, you ask them, was you scared or something up on the line? And they'd say, no. And I figured it's either lying or fools. Because if you're up there, believe me, you're scared. I don't care. You're scared, you're not gonna run or nothing like that, but your adrenaline is still running hot and heavy. And you gotta keep your eyes open and your ears paying attention. And when you're driving a tank in a periscope, your vision is very limited. And right at the last, we got the kind of first generation of infrared on our periscopes for the tank. You could tell it was a person out there, but you couldn't tell friend or foe. So therefore, it was kind of worthless in a way because you could be shooting one of your own men. And that's about it.
How about, was there anything that the Korean family had to say to you that you'd want to share? You briefly mentioned it before.
They were very happy and very proud of the fact that I served over there. They all give me a good hug. The man, the Papa San, he gave me a good hug and he said, you live a long and happy and healthy life. They were very grateful that they met someone that would share things with them and their experience and stuff like that. And I know that at his age, he must have been very young, if he was even around at that time. But he knew, and he was very appreciative. And it makes you feel good to meet someone like that that'll walk up and just share everything, their family with you, and everything. It was wonderful. It really was.
And this was at the Korean War Memorial?
This was at the Korean War Memorial, where he walked up to me. And I have a picture of him and his family and myself. And it was great.
Terrific. Now just give us your name and where you're from, where you live.
All right, I'm Daniel Robert Kline. I live in Deming, New Mexico now. I was born and raised in Wyoming.
Thanks very much.
Okay.